What's up everyone? Today we're gonna take a look at Planet Lust, which can be described best as Stardew Valley for Gooners. But instead of a cozy one-hand experience, this game will make you break your keyboard because of the grindy mechanics. I've read quite a lot of reviews and one word that kept appearing was tedious, but let's find out if that's really true. The gameplay. First, you are to select your difficulty. Do not select grindy. You'll thank me later. You have the introduction that happens on Earth, and it functions as a tutorial, where you get accustomed to the mechanics and controls of the game. You run around the city doing some quests while also learning the parkour mechanics, which you should, because you will be forced to do some annoying jumps that are mandatory later. Then you get first seat rows to Mars, where the whole action is gonna happen. The intro area was split between the town and the military base. On Mars it is split between the base, outside compound and mines. The game is also split around crafting, farming and mining. You will do this every day, so better get used to it. The days are not infinite. You have a certain amount of time until the day runs out, and if you are not asleep when the timer runs out, you will faint and start the next day with just half of the energy. Crafting is centered around Zoe. You will need her to open the crafting interface each time, and like most crafting mechanics, you gather the components and you get the item. For general equipment, you have the pickaxe and shovel for gathering, a melee and ranged weapons for fighting, and upgrades to your character like backpack space, energy, oxygen, and double jump. You also need to craft other stations, and the most important one is the furnace, where you will smelt your ores to produce ingots. Each furnace can hold only one ingot, so if you want efficiency, you will need at least 6 around the base so you can keep up with the demand. And another one that I find mandatory is the seed crafter, where you give it fossilized seeds and in return you get alien seeds. At the beginning you should focus all your resources into the pickaxe and shovel, since mining is where you'll spend a lot of time and where most of the needed resources will come from. Then backpack and energy upgrades. The coffee and oxygen machines can also be helpful. Coffee gives you a gigantic speed buff and oxygen will be needed outside. Farming. In the base you get 12 seed spots, and each seed will require a certain amount of time to grow, so you should be mindful about the seeds that you plant. Most of the seeds will come from quest rewards and fossilized seeds from the seed crafter, but at the beginning of the game you can find quite a lot in the chests scattered around the outside. You'll need both general plants like carrots and potatoes, because they are used to craft powerful food consumables, and alien fruits, which will provide great buffs like increased attack and oxygen reserves. The game also provides fertilizer, which will halve the time needed for them to grow. You have 2 types of fertilizer, but after a few days of farming, you can craft dozens of the super fertilizer, which will leave the basic one meaningless. Mining, which can be done in both the outside compound and the mine. You will spend your first days outside mining stones, copper and iron, but also digging, because some necessary ores can only be found by digging. So that's why I said in the beginning that you will need both. Also on the surface and mine, you can also find some floating drones, and if you jump into them they will give you ammo, energy and oxygen. And they reset so you can keep farming them. They will provide some important assistance, especially in the mines. And you will find the mine in the south part of the map, which like Stardew Valley is composed of levels, and you find the next level by mining rocks and hoping the RNG is in your favor. But every level will go like this: enter it, place torches, kill all enemies, collect all the loot, then start looking for the next level. And this is where the tedious part starts. You have to watch your energy and oxygen levels, because here you are not only gated by the time, but also the oxygen, which dictates the time spent outside. Also the energy goes down every time you mine something, but also when you get hit. So each time you get hit, that means less ores that you can mine that day. In total there are 20 levels. I don't know if there are more, but there's no reason at all to go deeper. Every 5 levels you will unlock the teleporter, new enemies and new ores. Also the new ores will require a pickaxe level up, so each time you finish 5 levels you have to go back to the base to upgrade. Combat. There are 4 enemies in total. You encounter a new one after a set of 5 levels in the mines. First you have the worm, which acts more like the tutorial enemy. It will require 3 hits to kill, and here your patience will be tested. Melee doesn't require any ammo, but the time between each swing is quite long. I don't know why they didn't copy the one from Minecraft. The timing was almost perfect. And you should never attack until the bar is fully charged, because you'll deal a lot less damage and you also will not stagger the enemy. The worms also drop intestines, which are needed for the fertilizers and some food recipes. Next you have the flower, and here is where you will have your worst cortisol spike. This enemy is so unbalanced. It attacks you from a screen away, the projectiles have pinpoint accuracy and top speed, and you only have a certain window where you can hit it. Here is the point where I recommend going to the options, enable auto run and switch the attack button on A. This way you only have to press 2 buttons near each other and will make fights easier. Also, I didn't mention this, but there is no point in the game where you shouldn't run. If you don't run in the fights, you will just get stun locked and killed. Here is also the point where I recommend crafting a ranged weapon. One tactic for this mob is to run around him, but from a distance, because if you get too close to him, he will hit you 100% of the time. Dodge one projectile and then when he resurfaces, position yourself in his direction and fire 2 bullets. He will also drop intestines and slime, needed for the super fertilizers. Next you have the bat. Range doesn't work on him, so you just have to hit him with a melee weapon. Run back until your meter charges and hit him back. You will only require 2 hits. From this point, enemies drop dark matter, which you will also need for ammo crafting. And lastly, the spider, another annoying mob. They attack by jumping at you. Here you'll have to learn the timing and range of their jumps. Stay still until they jump, strafe to the side, then turn on him and hit. And both weapons work on them at least. And now for the worst enemy in the mines, the parkour. There are at least a couple of mandatory jumps that you have to perform in order to progress. It will be very frustrating and you will not get it the first time. It will require some practice to get it done, at least for a couple of minutes. I suggest getting the gravity boots here. They will unlock the second jump and at least will make them bearable. And if you thought this is the worst, there's another catch. Parkour with lava. Each time you fail, you'll fall into the lava and take damage, so hopefully you packed half the inventory with food, not for the enemies, but for the jumps. In the 20th level, you'll have to perform 2 jumps to get the collectible card and the best pickaxe and melee weapon in the game, the Void Hammer. Now for the girls. Each day you visit the terminal to see your daily quests. Each girl will give you one, and you can reroll it 3 times if you don't like it, and all of them are centered around crafting, farming, mining and fighting. Each time the affection increases from a quest done, you'll unlock sims for the girls that are triggered by walking into certain rooms around the base, and at max affection you'll unlock the final interactive one. Now that you know all the mechanics, this is how a day will look. First thing first, check your daily quests and make sure you accept them. Then visit your furnaces to put some new ores to smelt. Then take care of the farm. Then go outside to collect resources. The story. The game starts right on New Year's Eve, where you decide that is the best time to hack a gigantic corporation. Then you spend the rest of the day hanging with your friend at the bar and doing side quests around the town, where you also meet your first girlfriend, Rachel. She will then ask you to find her dog. After you run around the town and find it, return to her for the scene. Then go to sleep. Next day, some FBI agents wake you up and they drag you to a military base, where you meet Scythe, one of the leaders of the organization. He will force you to go on Mars for a mission, meet your crew and off to Mars. At the base, you'll meet Mom, which is an artificial intelligence running the operations around the base. After a couple of days, Mom will ask you to find a logbook, for no special reason. Go outside to the ruins and dig it up, and you find that it has your name on it, so you decide not to tell her. Over the course of a few days, you'll have some nightmares, and one of it will tell you to use the computer in the basement. And that's the next objective. Plug in the logbook and you learn that you are not the first people on the planet. The first crew was responsible for a secret project where the lead scientist was your mom. Okay, too many muscle man references here. And that she and her crew were killed after she realized that they wanted to turn her project into a weapon and refused to continue the research. Here you vow your revenge. This is also where the quests stop. I had no idea that you had to do anything else, where on the 31st day, out of nowhere, I got the bad ending, where Mom turned on me and soldiers captured everyone. Then I realized that I have to speak with Anne and tell her about the nightmares. This will convince everyone to abort the mission and return to Earth. But here you find out that the hangar where the fuel was supposed to be stored is empty. Mom reveals her true face and that they were never supposed to leave the planet. They only needed you for your DNA to unlock your mother's logbook for the research. Here you also meet Scythe again, but also Viper and Alpha. Hand over the logbook or die. But you don't really have a choice but to rebel. And the military convoy with a super weapon is already on the way to get you. Next, you get a call from your friend and Rachel, where he helps you hack their super weapon. Then you go back to the monitor and start the final fight. For this one, I recommend having all the energy upgrades, both the Stinger and the Fat Boy with plenty of ammo and lots of energy items, preferably soups. This fight can get annoying, but not if you have what I said. Their spawn is in the left part of the compound, so approach slowly, aggro 1 or 2 soldiers, then run back and shoot. And if you feel overwhelmed, just run away as far as you can from them and they will reset. Do not try to use your melee against them, you'll just get stun locked into oblivion. You need to kill 5 soldiers to end the fight. Then Michelle comes and saves you. Then you take their ship and return with everyone on Earth. Even though they will have an army waiting for you, but that's a story for another day. The good. By far the best part of the game is the art and girls. They really nailed the animation and pixel style. And the interactive scenes remind me of old Flash animations, which is a bit of added nostalgia. The girls also have different body types and personalities, so there should be someone for everyone in there. Also, you get a few random events with every member, which you can revisit at any time in the gallery. The map design is also very good. The city, the base and Mars look beautiful, and it's fun to explore them. It also gives you a reason to do it because of the unlockables and extra items. Also the gameplay loop, it's okay. It has its downside but also gives the name the necessary depth of gameplay part. Just enough mechanics to keep you invested. The bad. Oh boy, here we go. It's already hard to manage time, oxygen and energy, but the lack of direction was quite annoying. I had no idea about any quests or the 30-day time limit. Just out of the blue I was hit with a bad ending. My only luck is that I already did the important quests until then and it rolled back 2 days, so I had enough time to prepare and finish the missions. Also the difficulty selection is useless in my opinion. The normal one gives you ample time to finish all the quests but also to explore the map. I see no reason going harder or easier, since the gameplay is also not that complicated. It's not like you have to min-max builds or fight a ton of enemies. Also the default mapping of the controls is quite bad. To attack with X and run with D, that's how you speedrun Carpal Tunnel. Also you have to get accustomed to the mechanics quite fast. Doing 5 levels in one go in the dungeon feels challenging, but also tedious. The spawn rate for the hole for the next level is quite low. I wasted a lot of time digging every rock in the level, so if you don't have ample energy items, you'll have to go back and retry another day. Also, maybe we can disable the voice for the main character, sounds like a gacha character when it gets hit. The ugly. This is the part that perplexed me the most. I have no idea why their game doesn't have a hotbar. It's so annoying having to cycle with 2 keys to your items. Imagine you are exploring a mine, you have torches in hand but an enemy attacks you out of the dark. You have to switch to your weapon and attack, and if you have low HP, you have to switch to your food, consume it, then switch back to the weapon. All of this when the enemies are chasing you. But all of this can be solved with just a hotbar. Please add it. Also the worst part, the gallery is bound to the save file. So if you missed something you have to replay the whole game, and if you still don't manage to find it, try again. And this can also be instantly solved by having the gallery bound to all the save files. Borderlands 4 did something similar where the map was bound by character and it was a chore to explore everything again, but they added cross-character progression in the end. A new game plus could also work, maybe you get to keep some stuff and also to have unlocked some more teleporters around the map. Maybe some hints the second time for the scenes. And another thing that I want to mention is that I realized that I've played on the easy side. After update 0.15 I think they added a lot of improvements. Let's check them. The game no longer stops on day 31. This is a good choice. Adding the whole game behind the limited time system is not that fun. I don't expect Dark Souls tryhards to play the game, and the majority of the player base just wanna have fun. Dying on the final fight returns you. Here I can't comment because I don't know what happened before. Imagine getting a game over and redoing everything again. Pacing is now 4 times faster. I finished maxing out every girl in day 18 on normal. If I played the original version, probably I wouldn't have unlocked anything. Accepted daily missions now carry over to the next day and you can re-roll them. This is a god tier improvement, because some quests are either impossible to do at the moment, like crafting something specific and you don't have the resources, killing an enemy that you didn't unlock yet, or crafting equipment that you already have. The crafting menu and seeds now show the item description. I have no idea why this wasn't in the game from the start. In the end, I'll give it 58 out of 105, because that's how many keycaps flew around my room after I punched the keyboard during my first encounter with the flower. But seriously, I'll give it 4 melons out of 5. Besides all the criticism, some of which was true, it is a good game. Also, I'm a bit biased since I only played it after the update, so if you played it at release, you should hop on it and give it another chance. You will not struggle like the first time. Also, something very important to mention, the devs are actively patching and improving the game. This will not be the last update and they are listening to the community feedback, something extremely rare in our day and time, where most games in this genre end up being abandoned or dragged out to milk the audience. Something very commendable for the devs. Also, with the funds from this, they will continue to work on their other game, the Boy Adventures, which probably will get a video in the future. So, thank you for watching. If you have any recommendations, you can leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.